functions where I've got excited, set a goal to go out and do something, and then maybe a month or two later I look back and I think, oh, well, what happened? I haven't actually done what I said I wanted to do. I wanted to do something every day. I haven't done something every day. What went wrong? I don't know, I can see from your faces that some of you relate to this. I mean, it's what we all experience, isn't it? It's absolutely what we experience. And you know, what I have done is I've tried to analyse, well, you know, why was that so? Why was that so? Because it shouldn't have been so, and I don't like it for being so, but I came to realise that what happens to us is we become distracted. Something happens, doesn't it? And we lose our focus, and we get very, very distracted, and we wallow in it. And a couple of months go by and we think, I need another function to go to get excited all over again. And so, you know, what I have done recently and over the years is put together my own way of keeping my focus. And I want to share that with you today, because to me it's made an enormous difference to actually stay focused, you know, to stay focused. You know, Vala is an amazing person, as you know, and we're having this conversation last night where she's telling me, I got 20 things going on, Jenny. I got 20 things going on, and I'm pulling all the strings, and you know what? And she does it, and she does it, and she does it well, and I'm pulling all these strings, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, most of us don't have 20 things that we're pulling all the strings. Most of us have maybe 3 or 4 things that we're pulling the strings. We might have our family, we might have our job, we might have something else we do, and we have the business. Now, if you're not pulling the strings, what happens? You say, if you're like me, you say, I can't do this until I've done that. I can't actually put my time into the business until I've cleaned up the house. Or I've got my job is most important. Or I've bought a business and I have to actually put all my time into my traditional business before I put my time into this business. Does anyone understand what I'm saying? You've got to learn to pull some strings, because this business has to become a priority. It has to become a priority. Because you know what? If you think the other way and you think, I've got to do this before I do this, you never, ever get around to doing this business. You never get around to doing it, because the time never is right and it never happens. So you're going to have to learn to pull some strings, and you're going to have to learn to stay focused on what you're doing. So the first thing that I have figured out, if you want to stay focused, you have to have a goal. Number one, you've got to have a goal. Okay, so you have to commit yourself to that goal. And on a separate sheet of paper, I want you to write down my goal for March. Now what I want you to say is this. I want you to repeat after me. I'm committed to achieving my goal in March. I'm going to do this. Okay, that's it. You're going to do it. You know, you've got to have that goal. Put it up on the fridge. Put it up on the mirrors at home. Put it up in front of you, because you have to put it up in front of you. And it works when you do. I mean, we resist doing that. We think all the neighbours will come in and see what's that mean. But you have to do it. You've got to put it up in front of you, and you've got to keep telling yourself you're going to do it. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing, you need to get rid of the distractions out of your life. Gosh, we live in a crazy world, don't we? The distractions of modern day life. TV, YouTube, Facebook, iPhones that we virtually sleep with. You've got to get rid of the distractions and replace them with other things. Okay? So now look, if you can't go cold turkey and remove it all in one go, I'll let you remove it by 50% this month. Okay? You know, you said it to me before. You realise that when you're new in the business, when you go to the workshops on Monday nights, that you realise there's a whole lot of people watching reality TV at home. You know, we don't need to be those people. Life is more exciting than that. We've got a lot more to achieve than that. So get rid of those distractions, minimise them, and replace them. Replace them with reading books. Replace them with CDs. When do you listen to CDs? In the car. When do you listen to your MP3s on your iPod? At work. Well, that's an honest answer, isn't it? Well, when you're exercising, when you're at the gym, you know, all sorts of places. What is it? It's a habit. It's a habit to put on the CD. It's a habit to put the iPod in your ear with the right things. So, you know, just do it. That's what you've got to do. Be in contact with your upline, okay? Positive contact. Hey, look, it's a good idea to do something so that you've got some positive conversation with your upline. Give them a call. Tell them, you know, this is exciting. You know, I'm doing this, this, and this, and I'm getting this result and that result. It's exciting and it's great. You really do need to stay in touch with your upline, okay? It's not your upline's responsibility to always be ringing you, but for you to ring them. And, you know, when people go quiet, what do we know? Nothing's happening. They've lost their focus, okay? We don't want you to lose your focus. It's only a month we're looking at, the first month. You know, we're looking at an eagle goal over 5 months, or 4 months now, isn't it? So we're looking at just 1 month at a time. So you're building an eagle, okay? So get rid of all your distractions. Now, other goals. You know, on that sheet of paper, you've got a goal. I want you to write beside it a PV goal for March. Because I never believe in setting goals without a PV goal. Okay? Because what is our business? It's PV. We have to have PV. We had a guy once who went out in the country, who went over a month and put in people in the business. 3 days. I think he went barefoot too, so the story went. But anyway, 3 days he put 4. He did. He was a very charismatic guy, but he didn't understand about PV. So he didn't put PV in. So then we had to spend the rest of our lives going and following up on all these people. But do you know what I mean? You want PV as well. At the very minimum, you should be able to get every one of those people to 100 points in their first month. At the very minimum. Maybe you can get them more. So you can work out how much more your PV will be. Okay? So what do we do to get that PV? Okay, but and failing that, they can get that first order in the month. So that's another way of bumping up the PV to 100 points. You know, help them. Go and do some artistry with them. Go and show them the products. Go and sell other products to them. Go and show them some cookware. Why not? Ian was doing like a cooking demonstration for me this morning, cooking eggs. You know, get familiar with it. and help them get their PV, because it's going to build their belief, isn't it? They're going to get to a bonus. Okay, so do that. PV, yeah, that's right. Oh, PV goal. Get those people to come to the function next month. Promotion. You know, an eagle is people at a function. An eagle is not just people in the business, it's people at the function. So if they're not coming to the regular monthly functions and the regular workshops, you have not got a very good chance of getting them into the function. Okay, so learn the skill of promoting and getting them into the function. So that should be your other goal. So write down on your sheet, you've got a PV goal. How many people are you going to have at the function next? You've already got some people coming probably. How many more people are you going to have come to the function with you? Okay? How many more people? Write it down. And say after me, I'm committed to my goals for March. Yeah, that's it. It's going to be exciting, but what you really need to do is stay focused and achieve those goals. Do you think you can do it? Yes. I think you can. Do you think you can do it? Yes. Here's Roland.
Wow. I was trying to keep out of sight. I didn't want Jennifer to see me. She was in a roll, wasn't she? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's some great information. In fact, I'm going to have to modify what I've written out for you guys to follow on what she said. That was that good. It was really exciting. Listen, the most important thing you need to understand now for the rest of this month is you've got to get your stories together. You've got to get your stories together to make this goal happen. Now, you're going to say, stories? What stories do I have to get together? Well, the first story you've got to get together is the story you're going to be telling prospects. Am I right? Yes. You've got to get together. You know, it's very interesting. You're talking about Nick. Nick is amazing, okay? I mean, he's a young guy. He's like Tennille and all these guys sitting in the back and all of you young people in here, right? The first thing he says to me, he says, Dad, you know what you're not doing in the plan, Dad? He says, there's one step missing. I said, what? I'm 30 years in this business. You're telling me there's one step missing? He says, yeah. He says, the step you're missing is the step that every young person knows, and you're not talking about it. And I said, what's that? He says, there's a lot of crap on the internet about Amway. And what are you doing about it? And I said, what do you mean, Nick? And he says, listen, this is going to stop people if you don't tell them how to handle it. So I said to him, what do you want me to do to help people handle it? He says, just get me to do the plan. At the end of the plan, I'll come up and talk. This kid's never done a plan in his life, and he wants to close my plan down for me. Okay, and I said, what are you going to do? He says, I'm going to stand up there, and because I'm doing this for you. Now, he says, I want you, Dad. I'm going to get up there, and I'm going to give a talk, and I'm going to say, put your hands up, everyone who's ever heard of Amway. So you can do that for me. Put your hands up, everyone, and keep your hand up if you read about the crap on the internet. Oh my God. So what are you doing about it? I mean, you just made his point. And he said to me, Dad, what we got to do is we have to come to... Now, would you believe that's a rather impressive thing for him to be talking to me about? And he said to me, Dad, the problem is you guys don't actually know what a scam is. So I said, what do you mean? He says, now, do you understand this is what I'm going to do for you. So I'm going to take you and Mom and show you a scam. And we said, what? He says, yeah, you need to see a scam. Because you don't actually know what a scam is. This is my kid. How does he know a scam? I mean, how does he know a scam? I mean, he's been in this business ever since he was a boy, baby. So he says, come so we can go along. And we're watching The Wolf of Wall Street. And he says, that, Dad, is a scam. But this is what he said to talk to you about. He says, you got to know, you got to have the right beliefs about your business. Now, I'm going back into seminar mode away from Nick mode, right? You've got to have the right beliefs in the business if you're going to get out there and build this business. He said, and this is what he wants me to say. He says, you go look at The Wolf of Wall Street. Great program he had. He just put a twist in it and got the whole thing wrong. By the way, don't take your kids to Neil. You're not to go see that movie, okay? It's a dreadful movie, okay? Oh, it really is. I mean, too late. Oh, I'm sorry, Ian. Oh, it's an education. Our generation never did things like that. Never. Okay, that was a shocker. Okay, now, you know, you got to understand, that's why we're all in Amway, right? So, so here's what I want you to know. You've got to get your story right. And, you know, it made me think, and I'm going to do some of this tomorrow at the end of the plan. I'm going to say exactly how to handle it. I'm not telling you now. But you've got to know it. And here's the bit. You know, Jenny talked of pays, right? And by the way, Jennifer, I thought what you could put over here is B action. This is BART, B-A-R. And I thought put time over there. You know, these actions over time will give you everything you're looking for in this business. Because I'm actually talking to you about what I call the gem beliefs. This is part of the story that you must rehearse in your mind. Because you see, the biggest obstacle to success isn't what's happening. What happens, the big things that happen in your life, it's the little throwaway lines that someone comes up with. Okay? It's the little experience you have which stops you growing your business. The little story. Okay, something happens and someone says, oh, listen, I would have come to that meeting tonight, but, I had to go and watch this show where these amateurs are going to dance. I mean, is it true? Isn't it what's stopping us? A bunch of amateurs who are dancing, who are cooking, or trying to be apprentices to some big millionaire. Am I right? That's what's stopping most people in this country from building this business, from getting the open meetings. That's it. So this is what I'm going to say to you. So this is what I want to tell you now. I want to say to you, just keep in mind that rehearse this. Rehearse your story. Tell people why this is the best business there is in your mind. See, all success is rehearsal. All success is rehearsal. Isn't this what happens here? Kev is a coach. Isn't that what happens on a Tuesday night? Okay, with all the footy guys get out there, they rehearse the game, isn't it? It's all success is rehearsal. What happens when, up in Townsville, when the young guys get dragged out in the middle of the night, the trumpet goes, and they go miles out bush. They jump into planes. They didn't even know what's going to happen. What's being happened? They're rehearsing battle conditions. They're rehearsing what it's like. You've got to rehearse. You've got to know your story every day. Remind yourself about why we have the best business, why we have the best products. These are the stories that actually make a difference. Because see, here's the reason you're going to rehearse this. Let me come back to the belief for a second. Here's the reason why you're going to rehearse this. One of your big activities this month, in the month of March, is to be a go-getter. And if you don't have an answer for your prospect, you're going to get into something called learned helplessness. This is what has stopped go-getters in the past. Do you know that not all go-getters become diamonds? Did you know that? How many of you know that? Okay, there's a reason for it. We know the reason, except you don't come and talk. You should all be talking to an upline. You actually need to be talking to an upline because you need to say, like my son said, Dad, did you know there is this stuff on the internet? You need to say, you know what? I showed the plan 5 times and get one person sign up, and I don't feel like showing on the plan again. Has that ever happened to Jenny and me? Jenny, has that ever happened to us? Yes, she is waving. You better believe it. I've gone through patches where I've had no sign-ups, and I've gone through patches where I've had numerous 100% hit rates. Would you like to have a 100% hit rate? Yes. This is how you do it. You get to know your story. Why is this business the best there is? Because we have the best goods. It's the best business, and we have the best people. The goods, the enterprise, and man. There's a story here. Here's the story. Who's heard of Choice magazine? Who's heard of Global Choice?